Hello, hello, hello. I wish I could sing. I really, really wish I could sing. Okay, so I am going to share some information with you that I believe will be helpful and very inspirational. So I'm going to talk about triglycerides. Now, most people, when they hear triglycerides, they don't really know what it means. And triglycerides is something that if you do know what it means, you probably have been told that your triglyceride levels are elevated. Well, the short of what a triglyceride is fat, right? So you can consume triglycerides and then they get converted once you've consumed them. And then there's another conversion that takes place. And the next thing you know, these triglycerides are stored in your liver as fat, or they're floating around your blood as fat. And then eventually, if not utilized for energy, they get stored in fat cells. So when you overconsume food, like so much that your body can't metabolize it and burn it and use it, then there's a likelihood of you gaining some body fat in the form of triglycerides. Okay, so what makes a triglyceride bad? Well, high triglycerides is a precursor for a whole bunch of negatives, to include the number one killer, heart disease. And there's quite a few people walking around with elevated triglycerides. And the doctor says, hey, we got to get these down. And people don't really know what to do. Some of the common things that they're encouraged to do is they say, cut out, fructose, stop eating fruit, which I would never have you do that. Because fruit, when it comes to sugar, is not just fructose. There's other sugars to include glucose. So sugar is not the problem. Now, I wouldn't have you drink your sugar, like an apple juice or any kind of juice like that. What I would have you do is eat your fruit. Now, I've seen people experience high levels of triglycerides as a result of juicing. I've seen people experience high levels of triglycerides because of how much alcohol they consume. When you have high triglycerides, you guys, you must take it seriously. And I have helped many people, thousands of people, lower their triglycerides with our methodology, with the Diet Free Life methodology. Now, what's negative about a triglyceride? And then I'm going to share with you a story. And in this story, which is a real life story that one of my clients experienced, and we had a great call today. Her whole world has changed in a positive. So I'm going to share that with you because I believe it can be beneficial for you. So when it comes to triglycerides, a normal level of triglycerides for most people is 150 milligrams per deciliter. 150. So if it's over 150, that's not a positive. So you want it to be under 150. When I started working with Chris, who we've had on our show, the Stay Healthy Experience, who's a client, his triglycerides were 1,100 when we started working together. And in 3 months, we got him down to under 150. Yay, Chris! Yay! I had another client named Dan, who his triglycerides were over 3,000. 3,000. At this time, you're admitted into the hospital. You're a walking stroke. You're a walking heart attack. Is not looking really good. Well, we got him down to normal. Now, when I mentioned Chris at 1,100 and Dan at 3,000, keep in mind, normal levels is 150. Borderline high is 150 to 199. High is 200 to 499, and very high, what they call very high, where growing concerns majorly, is over 500. Chris was 1,100. Dan was 3,000. So my client this morning gave me the good news. She saw me put out an advertisement talking about helping women over the age of 40. And many of you saw this. And she is like, I got to do something. And years ago, she had seen me on my first infomercial. And for whatever reason, she saw this email that went out. And she says, let me reach out to Robert. She sent me this long breakdown of what was going on in her life. She found herself in the hospital. Her hemoglobin A1C was 12%. That's high. And check this out. Her triglycerides were 5,600. Remember, very high is 500? 5,600. She's in the hospital. They don't know what they're freaking out. She calls me. She sees what I'm making available at a really good price. She comes on board and she asked me, do I feel I could help her? I said, yes, 100%. So I helped her. Guess what her triglycerides are now? Under 150. And in a week, we find out where her hemoglobin A1C is. Now, if you, for instance, are on the fence with your health, I would say, what the hell are you doing? Because you don't get on the fence when we're talking about your health. When you're talking about your health, you go the extremes to improve your health. You don't complain about what you're going to eat. You just eat it. Now, fortunately, I like people to enjoy their food. And a big part of our methodology, and the promise is ongoing, is that I want you to be able to eat the foods you love and still improve your health. But sometimes there are foods at a certain period of time that we must avoid. Right? Like if you're lactose intolerant, why are you drinking milk that has lactose? If you're allergic to peanut butter, why would you eat peanut butter? You wouldn't. And if you know certain foods are going to cause your triglycerides to be elevated, and we know the dangers that go with that, well, guess what? You're not going to eat the things or consume the things that's going to put you in a worse situation. So all of that being said, if she can go from 5,600 and she's eating carbs and she's eating fruit to under 150, why wouldn't everyone line up right now? Just line up. Like even the county that I live in. If you have elevated triglycerides, what are you waiting on? Because there are people who are experiencing a whole bunch of health concerns because they didn't take action, grab that bull by the horns, and improve that part of their health. Help me get it, people. Help me get it. If you hear me and you understand what I'm saying, do me a favor and comment or share or say I tag your friend that you was informed has high triglycerides. Let's help her. Even if she doesn't have any money, if she sends me an email and say, hey, I heard you help someone lower their triglycerides from 5,600 without avoiding carbs, still eating fruit, having a good time, not feeling deprived or restricted, and you got them down to normal triglycerides in 2 months, I'll give them advice. Won't cost a penny. I want to help people. My goal is to help people. And a lot of the help that I want to provide is based on busting myths, because there's so many myths and misinformation around nutrition and getting healthier that's my gifts, or one of my gifts, is to be able to help people and provide clarity. And with that clarity, there's a confidence that comes about. And once they have the confidence and they experience it, then there can be a continuance of success. The 3 C's. Clarity. Like when I first started talking, and let's say I was talking to you directly and I said, "Hey, do you know what a triglyceride is?" If you don't know, say, "No, I don't really know." Don't just go, "Yeah." And then if I may come back and say, "Well, tell me what it is and why it's important to know about it." If you don't know that, say you don't know. You know, it's kind of like when I meet a client and they say, "Yeah, I have high blood pressure." I said, "Well, what's your numbers?" Systolic, diastolic. And then let's say they go, "I'm 140 over 110." What does that mean? I think it's not really, I think when they say your triglycerides are 5,600, right? Milligrams per deciliter. What does that mean? Is that good? Is it bad? Like what's happening to me? Well, she was in a lot of discomfort, pain, when that happened. And next thing you know, she's in a hospital. See, when you become a diabetic or you find yourself with elevated triglycerides, that wasn't from one meal or from one day. This is something that has been like increasing and increasing and increasing and increasing for a good amount of time. Like there are people who have elevated fasting glucose and they have no idea. I mean, I was looking at a report just the other day and it said 85% of people, adults, are walking around the world, are walking around with elevated insulin, leaning toward insulin resistance, and they have no idea about it. I believe it's important for us to know about these things because triglycerides, hypertension, glucose, insulin levels being high and elevated for long periods of time, all lead to some problems that I've never met a person that said, "Yeah, I want to have some problems." No, we don't want problems. And education is king. So when I share, I'm doing it because I care. Okay. So what can you do right now if you have hypertriglyceride anemia, which is high levels of triglycerides floating around in your blood? What can we do? Well, one, continue to eat your fruits, eat your vegetables. Don't eat too much. Like don't eat pounds of strawberries, but eat your strawberries, right? So we have a methodology where we teach people about portions and how to combine food. Don't eat a whole bunch of high fat foods. Drink a lot of water. If you are drinking a lot of alcohol, cut it in half. Maybe, and then get your numbers checked again. That's a good place to start. And then get with someone like me or reach out to me. We have other coaches I can connect you with, and we will help you out. Now, the byproduct of improving your triglycerides, you may lose some weight. Or you may be like one of my clients who we focus on reversing type 2 diabetes. And going after that, we got him off high blood pressure medication. Now, we may focus on high blood pressure medication, and triglycerides could be elevated, but by improving your blood pressure, we're going to see improvement with your triglycerides. And we're going to see improvements with a whole bunch of other things that could be going in a negative direction as far as your health. So when you treat the body, the whole body, you improve the whole body. So there you go. All right, what's up there, Jason? Jason says my A1C is down to 7.5 from 8.1 in December. My triglycerides were 153. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Jason. Thank you, man. What's up there, Cindy Douglas? It's good talking to you as always. Julian, what's up, Julie? Julie says, you have helped someone with 5,600 Yes, her triglycerides were 5,600. I'm going to have her on one of the shows. So I'm lining up these people that I met this year and started working with this year. There's a lot of them that have made amazing progress. And I'm setting things up so that they can share from their perspective, their experience. I was just an asset. I was a guy that this is what I do. And I'm sure having a supportive family, having a nice doctor or physician that encourages and lifts them up, having a nutritionist like myself that's kind of guiding them in that area. They may go get a personal trainer. You know what I mean? Like you build a team around you, that husband who supports you and encourages you to stay the course, or that wife that's helping out with the meals and eating the same thing that you're eating because she doesn't want you to feel alone. Like that's a team. It's a team. And it's kind of like my good buddy, Michael E. Parker, talks a lot about. And this whole club that we have, right? The A Club it's an environment. It's an environment that supports the direction you want to move in and the achievements that you're going after. You have a group of people that are supporting you. I'm just one of those people. And even doing this, even if I'm not working with you, if you get some ideas from this, or you went and Google triglycerides and you're like, all right, yeah, I got to work on this, then great. As Jason shared his situation, he's improving. That's great. And that's what we want to do. We want to just keep improving, man, and keep having fun. All right. And there's a way to have it all. Yes, you can. You can have your cake and you can eat it too. All right. Well, anyway, I want to also share one quick thing with you because a couple days ago, I hurt my back. Hurt it really bad. And the last time this happened was about 3 years ago. So it happens every, I guess 3 years. And I was out of it, stretched out. I couldn't even sleep really. I was laid on the floor. And then I woke up and I had a moment, right? Because I live alone. I'm by myself. I'm single, ready to mingle. No. And I have my daughters. I usually get my daughters on Friday through Sunday. I've been working really hard on our certification and some things for our coaches that we're getting ready to launch. A lot of positive things going on, but when my back went out and I woke up and I was like, what if something happens to me? Because I know people, I had friends who live by themselves, and next, 3 days goes by, no one's called them or checked on them or been to their place, and they died. One of my friends died a few years back. She lived by herself. She was a personal trainer. She was renting space from us, and we didn't see her for a few days. And then one of her friends came by our facility and said, hey, just want to let you know, Julie died. What? I just saw her the other day. Yeah, she had a heart attack on her computer in her house, all by herself. She was on Facebook and died. So I was like, I think I need a relationship. Or I need somebody to come by my place in case something happens to me. Jeez. I mean, worst case, if something happened to me on a Monday, then my kids, they would come on Friday and they would discover me. Anyway, I bring that up in fun, but with a focus on mental health. put energy into that even when you're working on your triglycerides. That was a big part of where I focused with her, was getting her to have hope and belief that everything was going to work out. And fortunately, in this situation, her triglycerides went from 5,600. I believe she told me this morning, 140 or 145. So we're under 150. So congratulations to her and congratulations to you. I'll be sharing additional information on other situations, but always from a place to inspire you, but at the same time giving you some facts and knocking down the clutter and the misinformation so that you're clear on what's possible. And that's why I love the idea of not just sharing the method with you, but having you meet the people who have gotten the results that I'm always talking about from the method. We got it. All right. It's time for me to say goodbye. It's time for me to say good luck. And it's time for you to continue to make today, no matter where you are, make today a masterpiece. I'm Robert Ferguson, your nutritionist, author, scientist, researcher, America's fat loss coach, and ambassador with Stay Healthy.